Hi, hello, and welcome to Module 5, Lesson 2 of the Customer Service Success course at Healing Skill. And today we're going to be looking over the 6 basic needs of customers. So the moment you understand a customer's needs, you're going to be in the best possible position to help them, right? So depending on what situation they're in, they have certain needs that you need to understand and that you need to hear and that you need to, pay attention to. And this is key. This is golden to understanding every difficult client you might have. All right. So the first one is friendliness. Second one is understanding empathy, then fairness, control, options and alternative, and then information. All right. So once again, fairness, information, understanding and empathy, options and alternatives, control and information. All right. So fairness. This is the most basic of all customer needs. It's usually associated with being greeted politely and just some courtesy. But I'll give you an example. So sometimes a customer is willing to go out of their way to come back and do business with you again if they experience your service is friendlier, more helpful, and more caring. Even though other service providers may even be more convenient, they prefer doing business with you. For example, people would rather go 2 blocks down for coffee at the cafe who writes their name on the coffee cup with a smiley face rather than go to some cold, old, boring cafe. So just that little bit of friendliness, writing your name on your cup of coffee that you order, or something like that. People actually go out of their way. They'll go 2, 3 blocks down to your cafe just for that little thing because it makes them feel special. So friendliness definitely goes a long way and counts a lot when you're dealing with customers. They actually tend to remember that, and it makes a good impression on people. So understanding and empathy, right? So customers like to feel that their circumstances and feelings are appreciated and understood by the service person without criticism or judgment. So this is why you need to be a little lot less judgmental and critical of the customer's situation or circumstances. You don't have to agree with the customer, but understand where they're coming from and appreciate efforts they're making. So, for example, when I used to work tech support at a internet service provider, I got a customer calling in, and she wanted to get some help in changing her Wi-Fi password at home because her ex has moved out and he's handing the password out to all the other people's, in the caravan park or trailer park. And yeah, obviously she's paying for the internet. So yeah, she wants to get it changed. And it's hearing a personal, the whole reason she's calling is because of personal circumstance and things like that. But just sort of be understanding and have empathy. A lot of people might go, why did you break up, or how come he got the password, or etc. Really try and avoid that and just be like, hey, no, it's okay, we understand, we're here to help and get the password changed and get on with your work, and just be understanding and sort of have empathy towards that, even though if you meanwhile you could be in your head being judgmental and things like that. But yeah, you want to keep your judgment to yourself. Don't be critical of the customer, because the customer's life has got nothing to do with you, and your personal life has got nothing to do with the customer. Likewise. All right, fairness. All right. The need to be treated fairly is high up on most customers' list. Yes. So avoid making the customer feel as if they are being treated unfairly. This usually comes into play when a customer is clash in a conflict of interest by a company, or in a different quality service they receive. For example, imagine if a customer in a rush at a supermarket within 6 items in the line for fast checkouts that requires 10 items or less, right? And in the front line is a customer with 2 shopping carts full of goods, right? So in this case, this would be sustainable for the checkout person to advise the customer to use one of the regular checkouts, since it's a requirement to have 10 or less items for the fast checkout. So yeah, so there you go. Fast checkout at the supermarket. You need to have 10 items or less. A customer with 6 items in her hand stands there, and another customer is in front of them with 2 shopping carts full of stuff at the fast checkout. Yeah, it's not really fair, and it breaks the whole queue and system. And yeah, probably just tell the customer of the 2 carts, hey, you want to go through a regular checkout? We need people here with 10 or less items. That's why it's the fast checkout, right? So it's about being fair to customers. And it's not about being unfair to one customer, it's being fair to all of your customers. Another great example of this would be if you're in a restaurant and the customer sits at table A and orders let's say ice cream and waffles. Customer sitting at table B orders the same thing. The customer at table B gets a massive waffle and ice cream, and the one that sitting at table A gets a smaller portion. yeah, there will be some complaints and waves. And because people are competitive by nature, you want to be fair. So yeah, that's why portions is a thing in restaurants. It's about being fair to the customers, right? Be consistent in how you give service, because people will come back. And if you're inconsistent, it's a lot harder to maintain inconsistency over consistency when you're in customer service. All right, control. Okay, control is a thing you'll run into with customers. The key thing is just to appreciate their input and value their opinion and input, because they want to feel that they've got some control over the outcome. So the moment you kind of, it's going to be very horrible if you've got a god complex and you work in customer service and you think whatever you say is going to be the outcome regardless of the customer's feelings or opinions. They just need to know that their input is valued and they do have an opinion and they actually do make an impact on what decision will be made. So control represents the customers need to feel as if they have an impact, there you go, on the way things turn out. Helping the customer, staying informed, keeping the customer in the loop helps them maintain control throughout changes in the process. Yep, they want to be involved, they want to be in control. Even though if they're not in full control, they want to be involved. This helps the customer cope with delays and other issues that may arise. Yep, if they feel they share part of the control or in the loop, it's a lot better handling things like delays or unexpected things that come up. It's just easier because you're already working with them and they feel like they're involved. This also avoids situations where the customer is being treated and handled in a way that makes them feel they have no say and control. Yeah, there you go. They just want to know that they have an input and you value that, and it actually makes a difference. Options and alternatives. So yeah, we go a lot over this, but customers need to feel that there are other avenues to get what they want accomplished, and that is available. This can be a great opportunity to expose customers to new products and services that would otherwise not be open to them, right? So if you know of a better service or product or one that is just as good that can provide the customer with, yeah, by all means, like if you can't provide them with their needs, why not just mention, hey, look, we don't really deal in this. We take you up to this point. If you want to do this and that, that's a lot more aftermarket or what have you, just go down the road or two blocks up ahead, or we refer a lot of people to this company. They'll be the best to help you. We often get feedback from customers coming back to us that they went to get this done at that company that we it's a service or a product we don't provide, and they were happy with it. By all means, why not? People actually value your honesty and integrity more, right? Keep in mind that an alternative solution isn't always doesn't always need to be permanent. There you go. Sorry, shop's closed. We're renovating till next month. Meanwhile, two blocks down, they'll be able to sort you with that until we reopen. That's fine. You know, customer can always revert back to their preferred product or service when it becomes available again. There you go. And when you open back up again, they'll come back and say, "Thank goodness you're open. We went to the other service provider or supplier, and they're a lot more expensive than you are. We're happy you're open again, and that we can be back. We appreciate your service a lot more." So there you go. Information. Customers need to be educated and informed about their products, politics, and procedures, and they encounter during dealing with your company. All right. Now, there can be a thing as oversharing. Obviously, when you're a mechanic working on a car, you do not need to explain to the customer the name of all your tools, and but obviously let them know what you need to educate the customer in what you're doing to help solve the problem or fix it, why it happened, and if there isn't any. For example, if a customer dropped their phone and the casing is no longer supporting the battery inside the phone. It's an older phone, by the way, but they come to you with the phone and you put in your battery and replace the casing and just mention to them, hey, I replaced the casing in this. The issue was the battery wasn't making contact with the terminals in the phone. That's why the phone appeared dead. Maybe do not drop the phone again. Also, I would recommend a casing that's a little bit more shock resistant, in case you do drop it. We have some thicker casings available that might solve the problem for you long term. And there you go. You educate them a little bit and let them know what's available. It's a great strategy. The more information the customer has, the better decisions they can make depending on their specific needs or wants. This also avoids misunderstandings, disappointments down the line. Rather do a proper job and give the customer as much information as they would need than having them come back because they didn't know or understand something. Yeah, how many people do you see coming back for a warranty return on something because they had a lightning strike or a power outage, and it's not, the warranty doesn't cover that, and they're so disappointed that the guy that sold them the, the product or piece of equipment didn't mention that, warranty is voided if this happens, or the warranty only lasts for 6 months or a year, it doesn't last 2 or 3 years, or whatever the case might be. People get easily disappointed if something happens that causes them inconvenience that they did not know about. And in customer service, you kind of have a responsibility to mention those things. Like, for example, hey, we're going to get a specialist out to check on the service or product for you or try and repair. It won't happen today. It usually takes, this amount of days, or it does. This is the process. Do not, maybe don't call back this week because we can't get someone out this week. It's not really preferable for us to tell that to you, but that's the situation, the circumstance. Unfortunately, we'll only be able to get to you by that date to repair it. Um, as a goodwill gesture, we'll credit you for the amount of time spent offline, or with the inconvenience, or we'll give you a discount coupon, or we'll give you a discount on your end of the month's bill. How does a 30% discount sound to you? Yeah, just really work with the customer and give them information. But customer education is key about your service or product. The more they know and understand about your service and product, the better it's going to be to help them, and there's going to be a lot less misunderstandings. The less they know, the more they're going to be needing you. And if you have a large customer service base, it can be very time consuming to educate each and every customer that comes back, rather just educate them on the sale of the service or product. All right. Well, that does us for Module 5, Lesson 2 of the Customer Service Success course at Healing Skill. Thank you if you're watching this on the course player. We love having you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please consider enrolling. The link is in the description below. You do get a certificate at the end of the course for completion that you can add onto your resume and CV. Thank you so much for watching this video. We'll see you on the next one, and please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.